August 13, 1961, East German construction workers flanked by soldiers and police began tearing up streets and erecting barriers throughout the city of Berlin and its surroundings. This night marked the beginning of one of history's most infamous dividing lines, the Berlin Wall. Construction on the wall continued for the next decade as it cut through neighborhoods, separated families, and divided not just Germany but the world. To understand how we got to this point, we have to go back to World War II. America, Britain, and France joined forces with the Soviet Union against the Axis power. After they defeated Nazi Germany, each of victorious nations occupied parts of the country. The vision was meant to be temporary, but former allies found themselves at odds over their vision for post-war Europe.
While Western powers promoted liberal market economies, the Soviet Union sought to surround itself with obedient communist nations, including a weakened Germany. As the relation deteriorated, the Federal Republic of Germany was formed in the West, while the Soviet established the German Democratic Republic in the East. The Soviet satellite country restricted Western trade and movement, so a virtually impassable border formed. It became known as the Iron Curtain. In the former German capital of Berlin, things were particularly complicated. Although the city lay fully within the East German territory of GDR, the post-war agreement gave the Allied joint administration. So America, Britain, and France created a democratic enclave in Berlin Western District, while East Germans were officially banned from leaving the country in Berlin. It was simply a matter of walking or riding a subway, streetcar, or bus to the western half, then traveling on to West Germany or beyond.
This open border posed a problem for the East German leadership. They had staged a camp to represent the communist resistance against Hitler and to portray the Western Germany as a continuation of the Nazi regimes. Why the US and its allies pouring money into the West Germany reconstruction? The Soviet Union extracted resources from the East as a war reparation, make its planned economy even less competitive. Life in East Germany passed under the watchful eye of the Stasi. The secret police was a wiretap and the informant monitored citizens for any hint of disloyalty. While there was free healthcare and education in the East, the West brought higher salary, more consumer goods, and greater personal freedom. By 1961, about 3.5 million people, nearly 20% of the East German population, had left, including the many young professionals, to prevent the further loss. East Germany decided to cross the border, and that's where the Berlin came in. Extending for 43 kilometers through the Berlin and further 112 through the East Germany, the initial barrier consists of the barbed wire and the mesh fencing.
Some Berliners escaped by jumping over the wall or leaping from windows, but as the wall expanded, this became more difficult. By 1965, 106 kilometers of 3.6 meter high concrete barricade had been added top with a smooth pipe to prevent climbing. Over the coming years, the barrier was strengthened with spike stripe, guard dogs, and even landmines, along with 302 watchtower and 20 bunkers. A parallel fence in the rear set of a 100-meter area called the Death Strip. There, all buildings was demolished and the ground covered with sand to provide a clear line of sight for the hundreds of guards ordered to shoot anyone attempting to cross. Nevertheless, nearly 5,000 people in total managed to flee East Germany between 1961 and 1989. Some were diplomats or athletes who defected while aboard, but others were ordinary citizens who dug tunnels swam across canals, flew hot air balloons, or even crashed a stolen tank through the wall. Yet, the risk was great. Over 138 people died while attempting escape. Some shot in full view of West Germans, powerless to help them. The wall stabilized East Germany's economy by preventing its workforce from leaving, but tarnished its reputation, becoming a global symbol of communist repression. As part of reconciliation with the East, the Basic Treaty of 1972 recognized East Germany pragmatically while West Germany retained its hope for eventual reunification. Although the Eastern regimes gradually allowed family visits, it tried to discourage people from exercising their rights with an arduous bureaucratic process and high fees. Nonetheless, it was still overwhelmed by applications. By the end of 1980s, the liberalization of other Eastern Bloc regimes caused mass demonstrations for free travel and demands for democracy.
Lastly, fall of the Berlin Wall. In fact, the fall of the Berlin Wall was that people no longer accept the power of the Berlin Wall anymore. The story began in 1989. At that time, the East German people were very dissatisfied. They felt why the government had to rule and manage them like this. They want to get out of here, want the government to listen to the voice of the people. So, there have been further protests in East Germany following poor government administration. Until the end, the government was unable to control the people at all. So, on the night of November 9, 1989, a spokesman for the East Germany Party made a statement. By his speech, it misled the public that the boundary was already liberalized. Thus, there were many peoples of East Germany heading towards each of the border checkpoints, which this incident did not cause the people to be confused. But also the guards controlling the boundary gates were also confused as to why so many people had come. So, at last, the guard opened the border checkpoint. And that's the reason why East German people escaped out a lot. What happened that night became a symbol that made many people remember that this was the end of the Cold War. And several weeks later, people used sledgehammers to smash the Berlin Wall in order to destroy it as a symbol. And after a few months, the government of East Germany finally collapsed. Some piece of the Berlin Wall was later demolished. The remains of the ruins have been sent back to various museums, including Germany. Some parts of the Berlin Wall are left to commemorate the event that happened there. And all this is the story of Berlin Wall.